In recent years, thrifting has grown in popularity significantly. While thrifting has found a place in various subcultures in the past, social media has acted as a catalyst for thrift culture among today's youth and teens. And with notoriously low prices, this trend is much more accessible to the common person, unlike various athleisure trends like the juicy couture craze of the 2000s or current brands like Lululemon.
I thrift a lot. I feel like 90% of my clothes come from thrifting. That's exaggerated, but I barely ever buy clothes.
I really like thrifting. I find it really enjoyable, especially since you can do it with friends or alone.
My general feelings about thrifting, I would say, are it's fun. It's just nice to see everybody and have a big group, especially in Philly, thrifting in Philly, there's just a bunch of people coming together and everybody has different stuff there.
I bought this jacket that I'm wearing right here. Usually I look for stuff, usually outerwear. That's kind of my type of thing. I think thrifting is an overall positive experience. I think it's a way to keep a sustainable almost aspect to the fashion industry. And I think that's probably the main positive of thrifting. And I think it's also just a fun experience in general, looking for something that, you don't know where it's been, but it's about to become part of your wardrobe.
Typically, I buy pants and jeans. They can be so expensive.
If I need jeans, I won't have a specific type of jeans in mind. I'll just kind of go and see what speaks to me. Because you never know what you're gonna find. It's really cheap, inexpensive. I could go to Goodwill, pay $20, and come back with a whole new wardrobe. Negatives, you have to really look for your size. It's not always a guarantee that they're gonna have your size, and you may have to change things or alter it.
A negative kind of aspect of thrifting is reselling.
Basically, reselling is taking your old clothes or going in thrift stores and buying clothes and reselling them for a profit.
It's gotten really big recently, actually. There are a lot of sites like Depop where people will take generic or not very sellable items and sell them for really high prices, especially they'll go thrifting to shop for other people to resell.
Prices in thrift stores have gone up a lot. People that are in poverty and that need the clothes, they can't buy the clothes that they need because so many other people are buying clothes.
It just feels kind of fake, and it takes the joy out of it.
Some pros of thrifting are not supporting fast fashion brands. Those brands typically have huge environmental and humanitarian impacts. Carbon emissions and microplastics and dyes being washed into fresh waterways. The garment factories that make the clothes exploit their workers by having terrible working conditions and also not paying their workers livable wages.
While expensive name brand clothing is obviously still prominent and seen as a status symbol, thrifting has grown to not only be acceptable, but a trendy hobby. But has it always been this way?
Yeah, thrifting wasn't really that popular when I was younger. And I think it was probably because it was frowned on a little bit, as if you were someone poor and couldn't afford clothing. But it's the way people recycle now. I think, it's a lot more popular. Some of these thrift stores have wonderful things in there, and it's just that somebody got tired of it or couldn't fit into it anymore, and the same thing with dishes and that sort of thing. I go to the thrift store for stuff for the shore house. I've got dishes there and pots and pans.
I think people thrifting is a good idea. I think also just being aware of what you do with those clothes. Like I said, I do thrift myself. I don't do it very often just because I try to make outfits with clothes that I already have.
It actually is helpful to the environment. It's not just, it is a fun activity, but there's so many clothes that end up in thrift stores, and if they aren't bought, then they just end up in landfills. So if you can give something a new home rather than it being, thrown into a landfill, I think that's really cool.